Hello, it's Michelle here. I'm going to take you through drawing a seashell. Okay, let me show you the colors that you probably will need. Okay, now when you look at the shell, it mostly looks one color, like a pink. But what I'm going to show you today is some cross-hatching techniques so that we can learn how to add all the different colors that are in here. So let's just take a peek really quick at the colors that I see. So I notice a lot of pink. There's definitely some white, little bits of orange around, and definitely some off-white, like a cream color. So those are the colors that I'm mostly going to be working with today. So let me show you the colors that you're probably going to need to get started. So really, I would recommend a regular pencil. I've got this coral color here. It's pretty nice. I have this sparkly kind of mauve kind of color. You don't have to have that, but I'm just going to show you how I would do it with these colors. This color, pink, looks a lot more fluorescent on camera than it actually is. It's really just a regular pink, and I got my cream color here and my regular pencil. So this is the seashell that I'm working with. Feel free to work along with me. I'll try to go nice and slow. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the shape of our shell. Okay, so to me, I see a triangle. So I'm going to start out right here by drawing a triangle, and I'm going to draw really nice and light for the beginning. So it's kind of like a triangle that has a curved top. Okay, now when I look back here, of course we have this little area here that we have to address. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on. I'm going to do it on the other side too. Of course the one on here broke, but I'm just going to add it anyway. But in real life, when you're out drawing things, you don't always have to draw things that aren't there. I try to actually do the opposite and just draw what I see. But we'll just add that today. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start working on drawing the lines that I see within my shell here. I'm going to start with the center lines. No rulers needed. We're going to just freehand this. So there's my first one. Okay, so if you think of each of these as like a tube almost. This is number 2. It's my next one. Going pretty light because almost guaranteed you're going to have some erasures. So if you look, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 groupings of lines so far. So if you look down here, you don't see that, but up here you can. I'm going to do the same. I think I'll put 4 on the other side. Of course, in here, there's a lot more. So just going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put in my last grouping of lines. Baby Maya says hi. I'm sure you can hear her in the background. And we have these lines within here. So if you look, so let me just show you what I did here. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groupings of lines, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the shape up top, okay? So at the top of each of these, what I'm going to do is put a little line like this. Okay, and then what also happens is the shape kind of changes a little bit here. So I'm going to add an extra line. Thank you, Sienna. Okay, so I just added those. All right. We're not looking for perfection. We're just, having fun. Sienna, would you actually be able to grab me an eraser? Maybe from Stelios if you just want to ask him for one. We are going to probably need an eraser, so I'm just preparing. I'm going to add another one over here. So we're fixing the shape. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's our like basic outline of the shape that we're going to be working with. Thank you so much. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back and I'm going to erase just some little parts in here. So I'm going to erase these lines and now I'm going to redraw that. So an eraser is important. You also don't want to over erase while you're making art. Trust what you're doing. If you erase too much, other bad things can happen. Your paper can get pilly. That's when it has like those little balls that start happening. That happens because of over erasing. So just trust yourself. This might be your first time drawing from life. Don't judge yourself too harshly. Okay? And try to just have fun. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding this shape. So basically I'm just correcting the top of our shell here. So there we go. Just like that. So I'm going to go with this as my shape. Let's go ahead and jump right into our cross hatching. So this is everything that we're doing with our color. I'm sorry, with our pencil. So next thing is our color pencils. So I'm going to start with the color pink. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make like a scribble almost on our bumpy sections. So the bumpy ones are the ones that have the bump facing out. And I do have to go back a little bit, but and I know that this doesn't look like anything yet, and you're probably wondering what on earth I am even doing. But you'll notice, you'll kind of start to see what's going on really soon. So don't worry, try to trust me here. And I'm just working with some really quick techniques. We are going to get into cross hatching. This is going to be the beginning of our cross hatching. And I like to go light in the beginning because there's just always erasures to make. And when you're working with colored pencil, actually, it's really hard to erase it. So it's better to go nice and light. So obviously I know, you know, our shell is not pink, but it has some pink highlights and undertones in it. Would you mind grabbing that for me? Here we go. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is so this is actually going to be the beginning of our cross hatching. I'm going to begin adding some of my orange. Now, do you notice the lines I'm making with the orange? I'm making lines going down. Okay, so it's really just this line work. Now in true cross hatching, your lines actually will look like this, and we will do some of that, but with other colors. So what I showed you is one way to cross hatch. I'm going to show you a lot of different techniques in this short video. So we also have it down here. I completely forgot about this area here. Okay. So on the inside here, we have those same colors, but they're much lighter. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually be using the same colors on the inside, but try using a lighter hand. So it's almost as if I'm just coloring it in, and I'm just using the lightest hand, feather light that I can possibly use here. So I'm just using this pink. And I know I'm working fast. You guys at home can definitely work much faster than I'm working. I'm sorry, much slower than I'm working. That didn't make sense. But for the purpose of our video, I'm just moving a little bit fast. So the beauty of having this as a YouTube video is that you can go back and you can rewind, you can fast forward, you can pause. So definitely use those tools when you're doing this at home. Okay. So I'm looking at my picture. So basically the key here is to do a lot of looking. Okay. I'm going to use my cream color next, and I'm going to go over, I actually think what I'm going to do is kind of go over everything with my cream. I'm going to go, And you can see I'm kind of making this up as I'm going along, because really what I'm doing is I'm looking at our shell for information on how to color it. So I'm just doing a real light layer here of this cream color. And I'm going to also show you guys a little bit of background shading today as well. So that's going to come in a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to come back to my regular pencil here, and we're going to do a bit of shading with our regular pencil. Obviously, what I just did is very bright. This is very tertiary, which means it has more browns in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here, and this is where I am going to use some of these lines like this. Okay. I am going to be putting lines like this in between my pink. So what this is going to do is this is going to help show the curve of the line. I'm going to just watch what I'm doing maybe for a minute. I don't think I'm explaining it well enough. And I am working fast. Please don't attempt to work this fast. Have fun with it. Okay. So this is traditional cross-hatching, just what I'm doing here. So if you notice, I'm leaving the center of the tube alone. I'm only cross-hatching the sides of each of the ridges here. Okay, so what that's doing is that's showing the curvature of the ridge. And I know at home you're probably like still questioning if this is going to look good or not. Try your best to just trust the process. Not to distrust it, but to just trust the process. There we go. And most important is that you're having fun. So try to have a good time while you do this. That's a tall order, all these different things I just said. And let the art just take you away. And allow yourself to find freedom of expression within your art. So if yours comes out different than your neighbor's, that's absolutely a beautiful thing. And nothing that you should feel self-conscious about. Okay. I'll show you where I'm at so far just so you guys can see. And we're not going to be done quite yet after this. Okay. Now, of course, you could be using any kind of shell, but most likely you're following along with my video. So, but I would love to see comments and kind of see if you guys do use a different shell, how your picture comes out using a different shell than the one I'm using here. Stuff like that. I would love to kind of see the results of this. It makes me so happy to see student work, actually. I love it. So much fun for me to really get to look and see how people did. Okay. So I'll just show you where we're at so far. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring a little bit of the cross-hatching into the center of these. Okay, because you can see that there's a stark difference. It's very, very, very dark in the ridges, but in between it's very light. So what we're going to do to make it look more natural is we're going to extend the cross-hatching a little bit into the recessed areas. The recessed areas are the areas that go down. And just be ultra playful. Have a playful attitude for sure while you're doing this. Don't take it too seriously. Again, it's so likely that this is the first time you're attempting something like this. Don't be critical of yourself. Don't be critical of others. Just allow yourself to get lost in your art. And I know I say this over and over, and it's because it is so important. Okay, so I'm bringing my cross hatching into those middle sections. So you can comment right on my video. You can, add your picture showing me how yours comes out, and I'll even feature you on our Studio E page. You may know that we have a Studio E Facebook page. Studio E is our art education center located in Rocky Point, New York. And we teach physical classes, and we've had a variety of online classes as well this year. And we're doing a bit more with online with what's going on with COVID-19. So you can also look back at the station anytime and follow along with me. I have a lot of really great videos for tweens, mostly working with younger students, teaching different techniques in painting. A lot of step-by-step paintings in there. It's looking better. So cross-hatching is a great way to show the shadow within the shape. So I'm fixing up the bottom part now. I'm just kind of coming back to this. Yours, there's a good chance it looks better than mine does. But if you feel like you need to, you can go back and you can work out the shape a little bit more. And I'm still adding the cross-hatching into the center part. I know this is a longer video. I do hope you get a lot out of it. All right. So this is just a very general way to start with your cross-hatching in your shape. Okay. And again, I'm just kind of taking a minute here to outline my shape a little bit. And this is where the eraser comes in handy. You can clean up, unless you like it to look a little bit more rough. Some people do. Neither is wrong. In art, there is no wrong or right. That's a real beautiful thing about art. Okay, so I'm just gonna real quick show you how to add a little bit of the shadow. So there's a little bit of shadow underneath here. So what I'm gonna do to show that shadow is I am gonna come back and do a bit of cross hatching. That shadow really exists underneath here. So you just, to figure out the shadow sections, you really just have to look. It just involves a lot of looking is all. I'll just show you. So you have this whole shadow here, but then the shadow is darkest closest to the shell. So I can make the shadow a little bit darker in those areas where the shadow does seem darker. So you might have thought that a shadow only had one, solid shade, but actually our shadow, right here, if I'm following along and seeing this right, we have a lot of different shades to our shadow. We have a really dark shadow under here, and then that shadow is still over here, but it's much lighter, right? So it's all just looking and discovering. Okay. And that shadow's kind of over here too. And there's definitely more I could do with this, but I am gonna stop. I'm gonna stop real soon. Sorry guys. Just like slightly more. Let me see if I can figure out the shape a little bit better of our shell. Okay, maybe I'm gonna come back with my cream here. So the darkest areas of the shell are near the edges or where it starts to get rounder. Okay, so I can add more cross hatching to those shapes, to those areas, to kind of show that, show what's happening there. So again, your shadow can be darker in certain areas. We learned today that shadows come in all different levels, right? All right. I can go back with my cream and I can cream it up a little bit in a couple areas. You can also use the cream for smudging a little bit. Here, look, I'm kind of smudging this. There's actual real smudging tools you guys could buy, but I don't recommend spending any more money. So I'm into spending less when it comes to art supplies. That's just my personal preference, okay? And of course you can do more with these, you can do less with them, but I just wanted to show you guys this really quick demonstration today. And again, please feel free to comment on the video and show me how your project comes out. Okay, so long.